Hello. Excuse me. My voice is a little hoarse today, so please forgive me. I will explain later. My name is Sroda Aglago. Welcome to Love, Forgive, Live podcast. So we'll get on the show today and talk about what we need to talk about today. It's been a very hard weekend, I won't lie. And of course, if you haven't heard it by now, I will share. My voice is a little hoarse. Like I said, I will explain. I found out just yesterday that our brother Chadwick Boseman lost his battle with colon cancer. I won't lie, that was painful to hear or read. I felt like my gut was kicked in, like somebody punched me. And it was hard. Because he's someone that we all look up to. And his work, especially his most famous work, he's done a bunch of other works, the James Brown story, the baseball star story, I forgot the name, and of course various other good works, the Infinity Wars. He just did an amazing job on Earth and kept us captivated. We learned that he was very humble, very respectful of all people, and then he also gave us a beautiful talent that he had. He didn't just act, he could sing. The man could sing. That's the beauty. He could sing. I was floored when I saw a clip of him in an interview and he sang a song. And I was just on the floor, just crying because I couldn't believe someone who represented so much for the black culture was just gone. So many little boys looked up to him because finally, as a black person, we had a hero. At least even though it's a fantasy hero, but we had somebody to look up to that way because we are not that well represented in mainstream media. So to see that was a great new perspective in the entertainment industry. So his death feels like something big was lost. And he saw people as a member of the family. So for that, I am grateful for his work, his talents, his heart, and his care and selflessness for all of us. So if, like I said, if my voice sounds a little different and I seem a bit off, it's because of that. I'm a little still, I think it's still taking a while for me to believe this is really happening. And this morning, I went on my Instagram account and I was just looking to see what's going on before I get over with the rest of the day after I do my morning routine. And I saw his picture and I was prompted to write a little poem. So please, if you don't mind, I'll just read it as a little tribute and a farewell to our brother. I named it The Legacy of Chadwick Boseman, sorry. And I said, words cannot express the depth of the impact your legacy left in our hearts and minds. Fly away, brother, into the resting place where angels dance and rejoice of your return home. Home where you are just hailed as a son of God. You walked here on earth as the light of the world. You serve your function well. Father God is well pleased with you. Please. Blessing and peace unto you and the gift you gave to us all. We love you. So that's it. Fare thee well, brother. Now, so today, thank you for giving me this time to just talk a little bit about our brother. And now I'm going to go on and talk about today's episode. So today I've decided to talk about two things. And when I say I decided, it really wasn't me just deciding, in the sense that I take time to think and meditate on it and ask the universe to guide me as to what to talk about. And this is what came through today. So I am speaking about, number one, our intuition. And number two is going to be about our purpose. How do we go after our purpose and do what we are meant to do? Okay? So, or going after your dream. What is that? So the first one is going to be on our intuition, and the second one is going to be on our purpose. So intuition, I've come across it in my line of work for quite a while. Okay? And it's been pretty difficult to meet clients and friends, strangers, and hear that a lot of people are not aware of their intuition, or they don't even trust it. They don't even know how to develop it. And I find that incredibly hard to swallow, because it's our God-given gift for us to govern ourselves and be able to get through our days and be safe. Okay? I see intuition as something very important, because that's how you hear that small, still voice within you that you cannot explain how, why, who, and where it's coming from. But you just know. Nobody will tell you where, because if you ask, they can't explain it. And based on the readings that I've done so far about it, even science can't explain it. They try though, but they really can't, because everybody has it. This is what set us apart from the animals. And I think it's the worst thing for us to believe that we don't have it. You know, if you believe you don't have it, I can't explain how that feels when I hear people say, I don't even know what that is. You know, I can't trust myself. And I was like, yeesh. That's a hard thing to swallow, to hear people speak about themselves that way and feel like they don't know how to connect to themselves. Okay? So as far as I'm concerned, your intuition is that divine voice within you that speaks to you. And if you learn to listen to that and allow it to guide you by you surrendering your stuff, yourself, and your situation or what you need to that. Oh my goodness. The beauty is the universe responds to that. Source energy responds to that. It does not hold back from you. And it's within you. But trust that you can actually access that. And there are ways that you can work to develop it better, to grow your ability to notice that and then make it useful in your life, because believe me, it's an important thing. Knowing myself and how much I've relied on that, oh my goodness, I don't think I could ever imagine myself operating without my intuition. It has led me to really good places and avoid really dangerous situations and events. And for that reason, I am extremely, extremely grateful that I was given intuition. And the fact is that it's not just me, that all of us, all of humanity was given intuition. We just have to tap into it and then develop it and grow with it. And once we do that, we are unstoppable. You'll find that there's so much more wisdom to be gained, so much more knowledge to be gained, and it's powerful. Now I'm going to give you the definition of intuition. Excuse me. Intuition is the ability to understand something instinctively, without the need for conscious reasoning. Wow. The ability to understand something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning. Okay? Meaning that the decisions that we make in our lives are usually through our feelings. Okay, our feelings guide our decisions without any thoughts or without any type of analytical thinking or thoughts. Because the moment you start analyzing, intuition is not taking place. So, in another word, you hear people say, think with your heart, not your head. Make decisions with your heart and not your head. That's what it means. Because when you make decisions with your heart, it's coming from a deeper and much more peaceful, settled, truthful place. And that is what intuition allows us to do. We tap into that sacred place to listen to that still voice, become obedient to that still voice, and understand how that guides you. And once you understand that and begin to practice this, life feels like there's a flow that happens where everything just happens calmly and peacefully. And you find that people will even ask you, how is it that everything seems to work out for you? Yeah, it's because you've learned to listen to your intuition, to pay attention, to be present, to focus, and hone in on that quiet moment that you get to ask the questions and get answers back. Okay? So we'll be back in a minute. There. So, we're back. There's one thing, as I was saying about intuition. Learning to listen to that still voice. Because that still voice is your gift. to connect with divine intuition, to connect with divine knowledge, divine knowing, and it guides you. I use it in my work a lot. And usually people will come and ask me, how did you know that to ask that question? I listen to my intuition. The truth of the matter is a lot of my brothers and sisters have lost this innate gift that they were born with, to listen to their intuition. And because they've forgotten that gift, they've lost it. But you know what? Don't worry. You can get it back. It's never lost completely. You just walked away from it and pretended it wasn't there. But now that we are all becoming aware, I feel like there's a level of an awakening happening all over the globe, of people waking up and realizing that their intuition matters and is key and is needed for us to be able to feel safe. Okay? Now, one question is, how do I learn to get better at listening to my intuition or connecting to my intuition? I love this question. I get excited. Okay? One of the most important lessons to start working on in order to make your intuition better is learn to find a quiet place and quiet the mind and the chatter. I will say it again. Learn to quiet the mind and the chatter that goes on. And I hear somebody's probably thinking, do you know how hard that is? I know. But it's possible to do that. It's possible to quiet your mind. Because guess what? If you don't quiet the mind, there will always be battles. There would always be battles in your mind if you don't learn to quiet the mind and listen. Pay attention to what you're listening to or what you're hearing, what is around you. You'll be surprised what has been around you all along and you were not able to focus or hear it or see it. Okay? So the best thing is to quiet the mind. And to do that is through meditation. I know. Why am I bringing up meditation? Well, guess what? It's important and it's needed for your intuition, for you to develop it, to allow it to do the work that you came here to do. It is just that simple. Focus, be present. Mindfulness is key. Being mindful is how you learn to discipline your mind and maintain some type of control. And if you don't do that, you're going to be struggling quite a bit. Okay? So meditation. And how do you do the meditation? It's best to do the meditation 15 to 20 minutes. Okay? If you can do that twice a day, I think you're like, whoo-hoo. It'll be the bomb. But if you can't, and you can only do 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night, that's fine. It'll be nice to do 10 minutes in the morning before you head out in the world and allow all the chaos to get through. If you're not able to do that, then in the middle of the day, find a quiet place. Now, it'll be nice if we could all run into the mountain and be on top of the mountain, or go into this, some people go into a meditation place. Well, I hate to break this, but the average person can't afford to go to Tibet or go someplace like in a mountain somewhere and sit there. So here it is. You can find a little room. If you're in an office somewhere, find a quiet place. Okay? I remember when I was in college, I used to just I'll be in the library, and the library is quiet enough anyway, so when I'm sitting where I'm studying, sometimes I just sit there and I go quiet and just close my eyes and I meditate and start asking questions. When I did start volunteering in a women's center during my undergrad, I would take the time and meditate. Sometimes I would ask for permission and say, "Hey, can I use that office? There's nobody in there." And they would say, "Oh, sure." And they'll go, "What are you going to do?" "Oh, I want to take a nap." And sometimes, yeah, I do go in there and then meditate. Now, when I finish my meditation, I take a nap. And of course, when I get home, I take a nap. I do the meditation there too. And I found it so helpful. So meditation can be done anywhere. Find a quiet space. If you're a parent and you have a lot of kids, and if your closet is not very crowded and you have some space, sit there on a little pillow and do your thing. Or be in the bedroom. If you can lock the bedroom and where nobody's going to be coming in, there still be it. I remember when I first got married and I was living in an apartment and there was no space. I kid you not. I would literally go into the bathroom and run the bath and sit in a bathtub and meditate with candles and everything because it was so important to me. And if I didn't get it, I found out I was very irritable. I was not myself. So meditation is crucial for listening to that still voice. You need to develop it. Okay? Some of the other place that you can find, if you have a living room where you know that you can sit in a corner and look out the window and see the leaves blowing, because maybe there might be trees out there and all you can do is just focus on the trees and look at them go back and forth. It'll be great. But if you don't have that, it's okay. Find a quiet little space. If you're lucky to have a library in your home, get lost in that library. So there's no excuse to find a quiet place for you to run into. If you're in an office where it's crowded and you're not able to find any quiet place, guess what? Your car is always available. It's always nice to go into your car. And when I used to work for an IT company and I would leave the building, lunchtime, I'll go and sit in my car and eat my lunch. And after lunch, I meditate. And then when I do my 5 or 10 minutes meditation and when I'm done, I take a little nap, another 20 minutes, and I'm done. Is that crucial? You cannot avoid not taking the time to be quiet because not doing that hurts you and prevents you from being in tune. Okay? So meditation for 15 to 20 minutes, great. Now, before the meditation, it's important to write down questions. If you do not want to write down the questions of what you need or the answers you need, then you may have the question you can ask verbally in the beginning before you go into the meditation. And that's important because once you do that, you're able to have a better understanding of the answers that you will get. Okay? So number 3, begin by taking 5 deep breaths. And that's the way you do it is you start breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for 5 seconds. And then breathe it out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do that again 5 times of each. Breathing in 5, holding 5, and breathing out 5. What is happening is when you do that, you're beginning to allow your whole mind and body to relax itself. Release any tension, any confusion, any tightness, any pain. You're beginning to quiet that down so that it doesn't interfere with your meditation. So when you do that, you notice that if everything just gets looser, your fingers, your shoulders, your eyes, your face, your jaw, your neck, everything starts to loosen. Your back starts to get loose. Your feet start to get grounded. So it's very important when you do that. After doing so, then start following your breath. Focus on your breath. Okay? Where all you're doing is just focusing on how you're breathing in and then breathing out. Breathing in and out. That's all you're doing at this point. Continue doing that. Okay? And then begin to visualize the questions that you asked. How would the answers look like? What would show you or you'll be able to see that tells you that your questions have been answered? So in other words, how would the answers look like? Begin to visualize that and see that in your mind's eyes. With your eyes closed, of course. You should be able to see. Now, there'll be thoughts that will be coming in and out that may be disturbing, that may make you get angry, that may make you want to talk back or get hung up on it. Do not get upset over that. Allow the thoughts to come through and observe it. Take a second, observe it, and what I do, let me put it this way. I observe the thought and I'm like, okay, thank you, but that's not where I'm going right now. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Then you turn back to your visualization and being quiet and listening to your breath. Then after a while, stop the visualization and just be quiet and focus on your breathing in and out and being relaxed. Okay? The next one is, let me see, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 was the visualization. Number 5 is the thoughts that comes in and out, and observe them and let them be. Then finally, stay in that zone of being quiet. Number 6 is very important. Just being quiet. Don't speak. Don't, even the visualization, stop and just be quiet, knowing that you're only following your breath. Your fingers are completely relaxed. Your shoulders, your wrists, everything is relaxed. And just be present like that. If you set an alarm, by the time the 15 minutes or the 20 minutes comes and you respond to it, you will notice that you feel like you're coming into yourself. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's how it felt like. It felt like to me. It's like, okay, my consciousness is becoming awake, where the unconscious was able to take over during the meditation. And it's powerful. Once you experience this over and over and over, you would notice that you become much more in tune to hearing that still voice of yours and responding to it. Because once you begin to hear it and notice it, that's the beauty of it. Once you begin to hear it, notice it, and respond to it, things work amazingly. We'll be back after this commercial. Okay. So, once you do that, you'll find that you're much more able to see yourself become more intuitive, more at peace with yourself, more joy comes in your life because you realize that you're not fretting so much, you're not fighting life and how things go. It seems like it comes to a point where everything just seems to work out, and it works out really well. And I had some people ask me, everything seems to just work out for you. How do you live your life like that? And I wish I could give an answer and be like, oh yeah. No, I really don't have an answer. It is just what it is, because I just listen, and I'm obedient enough to allow that to operate in my life. Now, if you are not willing to allow and relinquish that control, good luck. I just find out when I don't do that, life becomes a bit too difficult for me, because guess what? Life is hard enough as it is. There's so many obstacles that comes at you from left and right, and why not make the load of dealing with all the obstacles that comes at you, or the hurdles that comes at you? Why not make the load a little less difficult for you to carry, so that you get the help you need? Okay? And every human being was equipped with this. You were created with this gift in you. Because guess what? As a spiritual being having a human experience, you must be able to connect to spirit. You must be able to connect to source. And everybody gets a chance to understand this and know this, that the universe is available and it's within us. And once we connect with that, it's so much more peaceful. Now, I'll go to my second topic, which is your purpose. How do you know what your purpose is? Now that we finished with intuition, which was important, because you're going to need it also to figure out what your purpose is. And you know what? Everybody's purpose is different, because you're born with that specific gift, that specific task to perform here on earth. But in addition to that, every single human being, our true function is to be the light of the world. I used to hear this question. I used to hear one of my mentors say, Schroeder, you have to understand, you walk here on earth as a light. You know that song, this little light of mine, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I can't sing. That's that close I can get. But that's where it comes from. Because we are all the light of the world. That's our true function. To be the light of the world. So once you show your light and how joyful it is to share, more light gravitates towards you. More people who think in that sense will gravitate towards you. You keep attracting that. Okay? So that's how powerful it is. Now, with intuition, now that you learn that and going after your purpose of the duty or the task you were given, or the gifts or the greatness that you've given. So many people have different names for it. But your greatness that lies within you must flourish in this earth. And the question I ask is, how do I know what my purpose is or my gift is? Well, the best part I could say, the best thing I could say about that is this. It's the thing you do in your life that you didn't need training for. It's the things you do in your life that you didn't need someone to teach you. It's the things that you came here on earth and and are doing automatically without any prompting from anybody. But it's just something that you just know. Intuitive. It's something that you just know and you're doing. And when people ask you, how do you know that? How do you do this? You'd be like, I don't know. I just did it. I've heard stories of children picking up a musical instrument at 2, 3 years old and being brilliant at it. And people are like, we never taught this child. That's his gift. That's his purpose. Bring that joy in that music. You have children who are very young, and they said the moment they could speak, they were singing. That's the thing. They didn't have to take any voice lessons, and their voice is beautiful. That is the beauty. That's how you know your purpose. But it's that gut knowing, that knowing within you that this is it. I'm just going to do me. I'm just going to do this. Where nobody understands. I always say that the things that you do that annoys people the most is your greatness. And allow it to flow. Allow it to flourish and allow yourself to be that vessel for that gift to flow through so that you can impact the world. And it's important. And ask yourself, is my dream going to impact the world? It shouldn't be something that's just for you. You're like, oh, it's mine. I'm just going to use it for me. No. Your part to play in this beautiful tapestry of humanity is to share that. And in sharing so, ask yourself, am I helping others by doing this? And when you start helping others and you feel joy, here's how you would know, like, oh, this is right on my purpose and I'm living in it and I'm doing it. When you speak about it, you should light up. Your eyes should literally sparkle. You should be beaming with light. And the best part of that is everybody around you begins to notice it and see it. But you've got to believe it on your own first. Because if you don't believe it, you can't shine with it. So once you believe it, you begin to shine. You literally illuminate with it. And people begin to see it, notice you, and ask questions, and become part of it. So ask yourself, what I'm doing, does it help others? And then when I do it, do I light up? Am I living this purposeful life filled with that joy? Because guess what? That's where you get your most powerful, joyous moment from. When you're serving. Is it helping others? And I'm telling you, it does something to your heart. It does something to your whole being, where you literally finish waking up in the morning and you feel alive. You feel alive for the fact that you are living in your purpose and doing that, and the joy spreads around to humanity. That's the best part. You don't need to be on stage. You don't need to be on TV. We don't need to be on that. It's not about being famous. It's about living that true purposeful place, and giving that out day in and day out. As you do give it out, the best part is you get back the joy. That joy fills you up and you light up even more and you want to do more. So your intuition will drive this, guide you. And when you listen and begin to do that, the world becomes your oyster. It opens up and gives you more and more joy and fulfilled life. There's nothing more I could say about that. So my brothers and sisters, time is of the essence. Tap into that. Ask the questions when you're meditating. What is my purpose? If you've forgotten, ask. I have a feeling, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've noticed after observing a lot of children and working as a therapist or a life coach and as a mentor or sometimes even as a coach. I do parent coaching and as well as life coaching. And from what I have noticed, it's been amazing to see children as young as 8 years old knowing exactly what their purpose is and speak it. I had a child ask me, literally crying, I feel like I've been wasting my time since I came to Earth because I haven't been able to do the work that I came here to do. And I was like, what do you mean? And this child says, you know what? I came here to do a job and I'm not doing it. And I was like, well, sweetheart, you're not even old enough yet. That child looked at me like I was out of my mind would say that. So I think children know these things. It's up to us, the adults, to teach them how to tap into that and learn to respond in that beautiful way as they are all part of this beautiful tapestry called life. And every little bit adds to the bigger picture. And for that, I can't wait to see the beauty that comes through all of this chaos we are going through here. There's going to be some beautiful stories and beautiful tapestry that we are all going to add our stories to and our greatness to weave together to be one. Thank you for joining me today, for listening on Love, Forgive, Live podcast, where I aim to empower, encourage, and motivate my brothers and sisters out there. Those of you who wish to write to me or ask questions, the email address is loveforgivelive@gmail.com. The love is LUV, for the number 4, give the letters GIVE, live LIVE @gmail.com. Like I said, I'm writing a book, and that is actually the book title. And it's very interesting how listening to today's topic about intuition and purpose. That book came about through a dream when I was a very young person, and I started learning and listening. And then understanding what that is about. I didn't understand in the beginning, but I just knew that I needed to be that person. And I became advocate for just being kind and joy and truthful and loving to humanity at an early age, probably like 13, 14 when I learned that. And it was very important to me. So I figured that I would write finally, because now I'm older and I have a lot more life experience to write about. So the story is a combination of all of that. I am also going to make sure that people hear more about this. And those of you who are listening through YouTube, please subscribe and listen to it. And if you've learned something from this, or you've taken something for this and you believe it's helped you, write to me. Let me know what's going on. Thank you. See you guys next week. Bye. Have a blessed week, everybody.